Shame. 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 Shame.
So, the 10980XE. Even before I started YouTube, it's been a dream of mine to test this thing. For myself, because you guys know why. The mainstream tech tubers, I mean, you saw the intro. It's like, shame, 14 nanometer is old, 14 nanometer is dead, mesh is too slow, go back to ring bus, you name it. Those guys have said it. Refresh, refresh. Pointless product. Threadripper destroys it. I've worked on a Threadripper also, by the way. Not even close. Now, it's my opinion that this processor never got a fair shot. It just didn't. Like, it's been better than the predecessors. It clocks, well, mine actually clocks to 5 gigahertz on all 18 cores. So what I wanted to find out was, can this chip actually game? Can it? Like, why not? Why, like, we all know that all the mainstream tech tubers test with 3200 megahertz RAM, that nonsense. What if you actually paired this thing with a good motherboard? Shout out to Nori for sending me an OC formula. And what if you used some dual rank B die on this thing? Could you game with it? Is it even, like, could this be the best all-in-one CPU? And just nobody ever discovered it? Well, we're gonna find out today. Hey guys, welcome to Frame Chasers. Today, well, we're benching the 10980XE. Super easy video today. We're gonna be doing all 18 cores at 5 gigahertz. I got a mono block for it, so it runs perfectly cool. We're gonna be doing 2 tests today. Hyper-threading on and hyper-threading off. And then we're going to have a third slide there versus my 10900K, just for kind of a baseline of where this thing sits. One more thing before we move on. This is my workstation CPU, so I couldn't really record the benchmark footage as I was benchmarking without like taking like an FPS hit, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to post the screenshot of the benchmark result next to the other results, okay? Now, for the Warzone ones, I actually did record it, but I took a 50-foot HDMI cable all the way down here to my recording PC, and then recorded it on this one, so... And then you might ask, why didn't I do that for the other ones? Because I didn't think about it until I got to the last part, so... Whatever, it just is what it is. Anyway, 18 cores, 5 gigahertz on all 18 of them. Let's go look at the results.
Alright, we got Strange Brigade first, 1080p high, and we got a 17% victory for the 10900K. Not to say that you can't play at 400 FPS, but it's just an example of how much faster that single thread performance is on Ring Bus. But if you're playing single player or, 4K, does it really matter? But for the purposes of this video, 1080p high. Up next, we got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We got a 2% win for the 10900K, so margin of error here. Hyper-threading on took quite a hit, though, so pay attention to that. If you're playing games on this thing, you're definitely going to want to keep hyper-threading off so far on these results, but that's pretty much it. This game, it literally doesn't matter what CPU you use on this thing, so let's move on. Alright, next up, Horizon Zero Dawn. We have a 5% win for the 10900K. Now, one thing you really gotta keep in mind here is my 10900K clocks at 5.4 gigahertz and has a 5.1 gigahertz ring bus clock and 4400 megahertz RAM. So your 10900K results might not come even close to mine. So don't think that the 10980XE quote unquote loses. It's just losing against this specific chip because this 10900K that I have is just that damn good. Do you know what I mean? But let's move on. All right, we got some Warzone benchmarks here. Now, the 10900K footage is old. It's from before the patch, the 1980s patch. So, but it doesn't matter. The FPS is the exact same. The two on the right are fresh recordings after the patch. So, hyper-threading on and off doesn't seem to do much in this. Although, hyper-threading off doesn't seem to hit below 200 FPS. But as you can see, in farmland, 250, 270 plus, no problem, all day long. Downtown, 200 plus, all day long. It's a perfectly viable chip to play competitively with. Yeah, this thing is just impressive on all spectrums. If I had a better bin of this one, like if I could do 5 point...
Well, there you go. I was kind of right. Like, I knew it, man. I knew that this chip was a winner. I knew it, and it never got its fair shot in the day or in the sunlight. It never saw... It just never had a chance, man. It's another one of those chips that is going to go under the rug as, or down in history, I should say, as a horrible value, blah, blah, blah. Like, you spend $900 for this? You can actually get them for $850 off of eBay right now. If I had to do it all over again, like, let's say I didn't have that 5.4 gigahertz 10900K. Let's say I just had an average one, like a 5.2. If I had to do it all over again, I would just run this. Single PC. This does it all, man. It does it all. It's got all the lanes. It's got all the gigahertz. It's got all the cores. This is it, man. This is it. This is the be-all, end-all chip. Okay, let me rephrase that. It is the be-all, end-all chip in games that can use the cores and threads, such as Warzone. When I was testing this, Warzone uses up to 14 cores. Can you believe it? Anyway, I feel blessed and fortunate enough that I had a community of supporters and people that allowed me to buy this and test it for myself. It literally was a dream come true that I got to test an 18-core Skylake for myself. And this thing games as well as any of the other chips that are currently on the market right now, if not better in some situations, if not worse in others. But it's got all those lanes. Alright, in terms of power consumption though, fair enough. Okay, I'll give that to the big stream tech tubers. This thing's pulling like 350, 400 watts in Warzone. It's batshit. But it's awesome. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares? Let it pull all the power at once. But this thing is sick. Anyway, I don't really know what else to say about this chip, to be honest. I'm gonna keep it as my workstation chip because just my 10900K is too fast. That's the bin on my 10900K is just too good. That thing is gonna last me for God knows how long. But this thing can encode X264 slow on my streams. My streams look incredible with this thing. I am gonna do one more video with this. I have kind of ultimate single PC stream idea that I'm gonna be doing with this. Like, can you play games and stream at the same time with no FPS hit? Stay tuned for that video. Anyway, guys, if you like the content, hit that subscribe button, do all that YouTube SEO stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Comment down below if you want me to test anything else on this thing. And, stay tuned for future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you later.